Hi guys, Tanya with Karma's a Stitch. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Tanya and this is our little YouTube space, Karma's a Stitch. I'm usually here with my son. He's not here today. If you are looking to get in contact with me at all, I have all those options listed below. You can find me on Ravelry as 76karma. You can find me on Instagram as Karma's a Stitch, and you can find me, email Tanya@karmasastitch.com. I think I'm going to start doing episodes every week, at least for a little while, because it seems like every 2 weeks I fumble through my intro and I forget things. And I think it's just because too much time goes between episodes. This is the third or fourth time I've recorded this. So I think I might try doing it every week just so I can be in a better habit of getting this stuff out. I do start every episode with a scripture, and the scripture for this episode is Proverbs 16:24. I will put that at the end of the episode, but that is the scripture for this episode. I want to start with new stuff. The biggest thing is new subscribers. Welcome. It is so great to have you here. I hope that you enjoy the content. And new subscribers are so exciting, and I love seeing that number grow. However, there are old folks that watch every episode, and it has been so amazing to be a part of this community. And I just want to say thank you for coming back and spending your time with me. I did talk about there being a drawing once we hit 100 subscribers, so we'll talk about that at the end of the video. And let's get on with other new stuff. So the first yarn thing that I got is this gorgeous blue. And I got 2 skeins of this. I've already used one of them and put into one of my FOs. So this color is color 5623. It is fingering. It's Cascade Heritage. Let's do it that way. If I can get the light okay. This was great yarn to work with. Let's see, it says it doesn't have the fiber content in here. Yes, it does. It's on the front. 75% superwash and 25% nylon. I did get this to go in one of my FOs. It's absolutely gorgeous. I had put out a request on Instagram for color options for one of my FOs, and one of the suggestions was cobalt blue, and it just fit. It was perfect. I'm super happy with how that one turned out. The other new acquisition that I got was a birthday gift from my son, and it was on my Amazon wish list. And he's just thoughtful like that. He knows if he gets something off my Amazon wish list, it's something I want. And it is a book. Double Knitting, Reversible 2-Color Designs by M. Lou Baber. And she is someone local to me. This author is local, and lives, I think, or at least she did, about 30 minutes away from me in Nampa, Idaho. And I am so excited to have this book. And because she's local is why I put it on look at that. This is why I put it on my wish list. And it's reversible. You see that? You see the inside as well as the outside. Isn't that fun? So double knitting is, if you've been here, you'll have seen the double knit blanket that I did with the tree of life for my husband's niece. So anyway, there's lots of fun patterns in here. Lots of explanation on double knitting. Super, super excited. But this was a birthday gift from my son. And that's it for new acquisitions. A little bit of yarn, the birthday gift, and the new subscribers. As far as my whips go, I don't have much room sitting next to me, and because I'm in a recliner, I don't have a table sitting here. So give me one moment to grab my whips. One second. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is 2022. Since the beginning of 2022, I have been a monogamous knitter. I am working on one project to completion and getting it done. With that being said, the next whip, so these whips are I'm working on one of them right now. And the other whips I'm going to show you is because I'm not sure which one I'm going to work on next once I get this first one done. But this first one is a crochet project. It is, sorry if the camera got bumped, my ball of yarn just rolled. This is a blanket, a very large blanket that I have been working on for probably 5.5 years. And it bothers me a great deal that this is still not finished. This was supposed to be a gift for the woman that was in the delivery room with me when I had Alex. So I started this a few months after Alex was born as a gift to this friend of mine. And then I learned how to knit. And all things crochet kind of went to the wayside. And I'm trying to get this ball back. But I'm using the Bernay baby blanket. I don't have a ball band for this, but I think these are 10 ounce balls maybe. I'm using a size 11.5 or P hook. And I'm hoping to have this done rather quickly. I'm just doing single crochet back and forth, back and forth. And normally these blankets, because I made these as gifts last year for my dad and my aunt and his friend, and they just don't take very long to make if I just sit down and do them. So this is my first priority, and I have been monogamous, so this one will be done next, I'm hoping. I really have good intentions to stay monogamous, but we all know how that goes, right? And I shouldn't say all. There are people really, really great at it. I am not one of those people that's really great. So the fact that it's the 19th of January and I've maintained this long, I'm almost impressing myself with it. The next whip that I really want to focus on is my Louisa Harding sweater. I've talked about this before. This is a picture of the actual sweater. The same color yarn. This is everything, and this is what I'm making. I will not be wearing the leggings because I'm a grandmother, and that's not something I would wear. There was a time in my day, but that day has passed, come and gone. But the sweater is gorgeous. So this is where I am at with the sweater. This is the front panel. Now I have to do a front panel and a back panel and then connect them and add sleeves. So this is the front. And you guys, this yarn, if you've been here, this is where I was at our last podcast. So I've done a little bit since the last time you guys saw it, and I'm going to move that up right now. this is, if you've been here before, you've seen me talk about this one. And this yarn is yarn that I had never worked with before. And as I'm working with it, I'm pulling straw and hay and stuff out of the balls of yarn. And I just think that that is the coolest thing ever. So here's the color. I will pull a ball band out. This was a kit that I bought from Angie at Yarn and Yarns. She is one of the first podcasters, YouTubers I ever watched. I shouldn't say one of, she is the first. And she had a big D-stash. She was getting rid of a lot of stuff, and this was a kit, and I really wanted to support her. So this is one that I did buy, and it just sat for a long time. So anyway, this is the yarn. It is merino wool, llama, and silk. They are 50-gram balls. If I can hold that back, maybe it'll focus. So I've really enjoyed it. I am doing this on a 10.5 60 or 24 inch. It's a 6.5 millimeter that I'm using. And I want to say that, and I'd have to look at the pattern, but I know that I've increased the stitch count because when I followed the pattern from here down, it wasn't as long as I wanted. So I had started this sweater previously and I had taken it out because I knew I wasn't, where it was hitting me here and the length, I wanted more. So I know that's one modification I've made is I've added some stitches to it. And I believe I also changed the needle size, but I'll talk about that more once I get back into it because I haven't touched this, I think, since before Shawlography, before the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. So this is one I really do want to get back into and wrap it up. Sorry, I bumped the camera. This one right here might be my next monogamous knit just because it's a small one and I know I could get it done. But if you remember, I took this color work class at my local yarn shop and I really want to get this finished. I mean, this would come off the needles so quickly if I just worked on it. There is not, I don't believe, let me look closer. I don't believe that there's a pattern name on this. Sorry for the noise. Cathay 4-ply Fair Isle Cowl is all it says. I'll see if I can find a link to it. I'm not sure that I can. It was a handout at our class. So I'll see what I can find. But this might be the next monogamous thing that I work on. Just so I can put these needles back in my blue bag of needles and get this project bag emptied out. Just because it would be quick. And I've gotten some big things done recently, and maybe a quick one would be nice. The next whip I will talk about is my habitation throw. And the habitation throw is one that I started it not late. It was for one of my advents that I got, and I'm using Cornbread and Honey is the name of the yarn shop. I did find her on Etsy, and I'm using her yarn to do my habitation throw. I was going to do something different at the beginning of December, and it was into the second week of December that I settled on the habitation throw. So this one's not done, but it's one that I might just take my time with and toss it in my car because it is something that has been, I mean, it's just so easy. It's such a simple pattern. And I've got all of the yarn. What I did with this habitation throw is, so I had 24 minis that were 20 grams each. So as I opened them, I separated the 20 gram mini into two 10-gram balls. And I added one of the 10-gram balls to a magic yarn ball where day number 1 is on the inside of the ball, and each day I just added to it, right? So the outside of that ball, let's see, the outside of this ball is day 24, okay? Because I just added to it every day and just added 10 grams, whatever day it was, that was the next color getting added. But with the habitation throw, you're increasing. And so I started down here at day 1 and I just added 10 grams of each day, and I'm going up all my increases. So this is how much I have left of that increase. And once I get to that point where this magic yarn ball is gone, then I'll start my decreasing, and it will be starting with day 24, which is where this one will end. So it makes sense in my head. This is where I am at with my habitation throw, cornbread and honey. Yarn Advent. And I do have some edges folded around here. Just because I'm in the middle of a row, I just can't quite spread it out. But yes, I'm super happy with it. It's looking great. I'm really enjoying this pattern. The yarn has been a dream to work with. So that is a current whip that I don't know. It may just be one that I pick up and work on when like last week. And we'll talk about that later. But last week I was at a doctor's office, and this was what I took because I needed to sit in my car until they called me, and then you go in, and then you're sitting in a room waiting. And this was just an easy one, even though it's a blanket. It's fitting in a very small project bag. I shouldn't say very small. A manageable size project bag to go and wait in a waiting room with me. So this is from Knitted Niceties, and I got this at the knitting retreat that I went to last fall. So that is one that I am working on. And the final whip I'm going to talk about, it may be the next one I pick up. I'm not sure. See, I'm just indifferent. At this point, I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I really don't. I need to get that blanket done, and then I'm just going to grab one and go. But it is my Petite Knits Rocket Tea DK. It's not Petite Knits. It is Tanis Fiber Arts. Yeah, Tanis Fiber Arts. Sorry about that. I do have a link in the description box below. I do have a project page on my Ravelry, and it is by, let's see here, Tanis Lavalley. It's a Rocket Tea DK. Let's see if there's a picture in here. Yeah, here we go. And I just love those sleeves. And it's DK. So I have started this project. It's not like it's just been sitting there. It is on the needles. And I was super excited to be working on it. I love the yarn selection I made. Let's see if I can find a ball band. Sueño, I think. Yeah. Sueño Tweed. It's 69% superwash merino, 16% viscose from bamboo, and 15% viscose flex. Okay, so that's the yarn I'm using. And here's what it looks like. This is my progress. So this will be the back of the sweater. This will be the shoulder. This will be the front panel. And it does come around and kind of, it'll be joined right there and be kind of a V-neck. But I'm not there yet. I haven't gotten to the point where I can join it. So this was something, again, that I'm pretty sure I started before the Mystery Knit Along with Stephen West. And how fun. I mean, how fun is that? I honestly think this was like one knitting session, one evening, and that's how far I got. So this may be my next one that I pick up. I just don't know. This is being done on a US 7. 4.5 millimeter needle. I'm using my Chagu lace needles. So yeah, I mean, I've got some fun projects on the needles, and it's tough. And I think that's why I have so many on the needles, because they're all fun. They're all enjoyable. And I just wanted to get them all cast on, and it doesn't matter which one I'm working on. I'm enjoying it each time. And I'll put one down and I'll pick up another one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why has it been so long since I've worked on this? I'm loving this project. And so I'll work on that one for a day or two, and then I'll pick something else up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why haven't I just finished this? I have so much fun working on this. I mean, there are bigger problems in the world. I'm glad these are my problems. So whips. I think that's all I've got for whips. And like I said, for anything that I am, sorry, I should have taken Mr.'s food bowl out of his crate. He's just playing with it now. But I do have, my Ravelry is pretty current. I will be adding some photos later today for some of my FO stuff that needs to be photographed, and some whips to show some progress. So that's where I'm at with Ravelry, but those things should be accurate down below. So that brings me to my FOs. I feel like I'm flying through this. So my FOs, let's see. This one here in this bag, I talked about it last episode, and it is a test knit. And because it was a test knit, I can't show you. I did this test knit in 8 days, the knitting portion of the test knit. I started it on the 1st and I finished it on the 8th. And this was a time when I was sick. I wasn't feeling 100%, and I still got it done in 8 days. So if you are looking for something that isn't going to take you months to do as a gift, it flew off the needles. The pattern is so comprehensible. It was so easy to follow, which is why I had signed up for her test knit. It's by Crystal T Knits, and I had done another one of her projects and just fell in love with the way she wrote her pattern. It was just so simple. If you like written patterns, there's not a chart with it, which is my preference. I prefer written patterns. A chart, I think I could work my way through a chart, but it is not my preferred method. So I can't show you the finished project until she lets us know that we can. And so absolutely respectful of that. But this was done again with the Sueño knitting. I did show the colors, but I will show them again. This one is called Ice Ice Baby. And these are all Sueño. And this has got the slightest hint of blue. And I don't know because of the lighting if that's being picked up or not. But you guys, this yarn, if you have not worked with this, I'm in love with it. And affordability, as far as, like, I don't know if luxury is the right word, but it's some nice yarn. And it's very affordable at the yarn shop that I go to. This one is called Dusty Lilac. And again, Sueño knitting. And these are 80% superwash merino, 20% viscose from bamboo. These are all the same fiber content. This one was called Plum. And as you can see with this test knit, I had quite a bit of yarn left. Okay, which is great because I can totally use this stuff for hats or cowls, because that was the first project I did with this yarn, was a hat for my dad. And then I was like, oh, he needs a matching cowl, so let's go back to the Sueño. This one was called Charcoal, and this is the one I used to make the hat for my dad. And it's just wonderful yarn. I've thoroughly enjoyed using these. This project was done on a US 8. I used my lace. I do love my Chow. So there we are. That is my first FO. Now, like I said, I have kept to my monogamous knitting for 2022. So I finished this one on the 8th. And then I picked up another one of my Advent projects, and it was the Advent project that I did by Crystal T Knits. I used my Inner Yarn Zen Advent calendar, and Inner Yarn Zen, the color inspiration for the Advent that I purchased from her was Outlander inspired. So these colors, and you guys are going to have to forgive me, it hasn't been blocked, but I am going to block it today, and I will insert photos of it spread out while blocking, because it will look much cleaner than it does in this state. But this was a Crystal T Knits pattern, and I used my Inner Yarn Zen yarn. And so you can see the different colors through Inner Yarn Zen. But if you also look, the way Crystal T Knits did her Advent shawl, and that's what this pattern is called, is the Advent shawl. Each day you got a new stitch pattern, and then through the Yarn Advent you were getting a new color. So I will hold this up closer so you can see some of it. And I'll see about maybe inserting a video while it's blocking. So I will. Let's see if I can do this. Yes, this was my second FO of 2022. This was done, oh, here we go. I still got it in here. On a US, and again with my Chow. I do love my Chow. They're just so pointy. A US 4, 3.5 millimeter. So that's what I used for this project, and it was kept in the project bag that came with my Advent. It's got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the Outlander books on there. And that's a question that I wanted to ask. So with an Advent, I had a couple things come up with my Advents, because if you watched my Vlogmas, which not everybody watches Vlogmas, totally get it. And there were a lot this year to watch. With an Advent, some of them were very different. I mean, they were very different. Each one of mine, the one thing each one of them had in common was that the color had an inspiration. So I did Inner Yarns In, which was Outlander themed. I used Cornbread and Honey, which was a Finding Peace theme, and she had a photo that kind of what was her inspiration. And then I did Gem State Yarn, which was a coastal Christmas theme. And on her little introduction card that we got, it said, think about Christmas on a beach. Now, when you think about a yarn Advent, you're looking for the yarn, right? I thoroughly enjoyed all the extras that came with them. To get a project bag was, I mean, what a great extra, right? To get little chocolates, to get stitch markers, a Christmas tree ornament. I mean, it was really amazing. But one difference that I noticed, and I was talking to the dyer of one of these recently, and she's just like, one of the things I normally do is name the colorways, each of the colorways. And it didn't even occur to me that it didn't bother me in the least to not have a name, because 2 of mine didn't have names. Like each day I opened, it was like, oh, look at this beautiful yarn, but there was no colorway name, which didn't bother me in the least. It did not, I didn't think anything of it. The third one did have a colorway, but the way it was packaged, you open it up, it had the colorway and a picture that went with it. And I thought that was a lot of fun, but I just thought it was 2 very different ways. So that's a question I have for you guys. If you're doing an Advent, does the colorway name mean a lot to you? I mean, is that something that is important for you when you're opening an Advent each day, having the colorway name? I just don't know. It just wasn't important to me. It didn't mean much to me to not have that. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything by not having that. So anyway, that was just a question that had come up in my head, not through any conversation. But anyway, so my next FO is another one of my Advent projects, which I'm super happy. I'm super, super happy with, like really happy with. And this is the Advent or the FO that I bought this yarn for as a border. And it is the Gem State Yarn Coastal Christmas Advent. And each day I did a 12 round granny square, and I used a size E. Yep, I used a size E hook. And I did these granny squares. Now, because it's me, I don't have my ends woven. I am going to do that. I am, Lee. I promise. I'm going to do my ends, but I haven't done that just yet. So here's the blanket. I am so happy with this color choice of the border. I mean, as you look at each of these granny squares, that border just frames each one so beautifully. I could not be happier with this choice. So I'll hold it up. I don't know that you'll get to see the whole thing. Maybe you will. It's not massive. It's 5 by 5 because there were 25 days in this one. I don't know if I'm getting all of it in there or not. But I mean, you look at these colors and they are each framed so beautifully, right? I'm so happy with this. This is gorgeous. I am so happy with this granny square blanket. So, third FO. And that was fingering weight, used a size E hook, and just did granny square each day. I did find that I could do 12 rounds. Each day I had different amounts left over. They were 20-gram skeins, or 20-gram minis. So I didn't have quite enough left to do 13 rounds. 12 rounds was the perfect number for a 20-gram mini on a size E hook for me. And so I did one of those each day. I stayed pretty current with that. And then I was sick, so I didn't get to go pick a border color. But last weekend, I was feeling well enough. I say last weekend, it was this last Saturday. I got up and we ran some errands, and I ran into the yarn shop and picked out the border color with the help of Erica, the shop owner. And it was just, I couldn't be happier with this FO. Okay, so one thing I do want to make sure that I mention is, yes, I did the Gem State yarn Advent. There were 20-gram minis for this one. And I went in and picked out the border color. I used a size E hook. But one thing that I didn't talk about was something that I always end up asking people. What is your favorite join method? I mean, how do you like to join your granny squares? And so what I have done is I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's like a continuous join. And you start, I'll see if I can show you. So you start down at the bottom here, right? Let's see, here on this corner. You kind of go up and across and down, and then you get to the bottom of this next square, and as you're going up, you're attaching it to the blue border on this side. And you go up, attaching it, and you come across, and you go back down, and you start attaching the next one, and as you're coming up this way, all the while leaving this bottom border a raw edge. That's something you go back and do after. It's something that I found on YouTube. I will include the YouTube video that I followed. It was a super great video to watch. I absolutely loved this joining method, and I will for sure use it again. All right, so that's it for this one. Which brings me to my final FO. That's 4 of them for this episode. 4 FOs since the first of the year. And it's my sweater. Yes, it is. I love it. It's my Sunday sweater. I'm not going to stand up right here, but I will put in a video, you guys. I love the sleeves. I intentionally made them very different. Okay, I am so happy with this sweater. So happy with this sweater. I started off with this purple, and I'll see if I can get the color to show up as gorgeous as it is in person. I'll try to zoom in and get a video of that and insert it if I can. But if I can't get a video, just trust me, it looks purple, it looks blue, it looks gray. It just changes with the angle that you're looking at this sweater. This yarn was amazing to work with. I loved it. I will talk about the yarn. I won't just talk about the finished object. It is so big and so squishy, and I am so happy. If you watched the episode where I talked about my annual goals, I want some wearable stuff. I want some stuff that I'm going to wear. I make a lot of shawls, which means I have a lot of shawls sitting in a tote because I don't wear them. And I want to make some stuff that I'm going to wear. This felt amazing to get off the needles. So this is the Petite Knit Sunday sweater. If I can keep that light from glaring. I mean, the pattern in itself had big bell sleeves. I loved it. I really, truly enjoyed making this. But what happened was I went into the yarn shop and I saw this purpley yarn and I was like, I need to make something with it. I had no idea. I thought maybe a scarf. I didn't know what to make with it, but I knew I needed it. And she only had 3 skeins. So I felt kind of limited on what I could make with it. It was knit on a size 11, but then I had to borrow needles from the yarn shop because I didn't have the right size for the sleeves. And I'm pretty confident this is an 11. So it was done on an 11 until I got to the cuffs and the waistband, which I dropped down to a 10.5 to do the ribbing. Again, ChowGoo is what I use. And these needles are coming back to the yarn shop because they were on loan to me. But then she only had 3 skeins and I had to figure out what I was going to make with it. And in trying to decide, I found this sweater and I don't know why I thought that I would have enough. I wasn't even close to having enough. So I was kind of on the fence, like, I need to find something to go with it. So then they were like, well, I had a few people suggest pink or gray. And I went with this ivory. And I was like, I'm just going to put it in to fill length. I'm not going to count rows on the body. I'll put the video in if I haven't already. I don't know. But a video, and you can see the stripes are not the same. The sleeves are not the same, which I was like, from the beginning when I knew I was going to put 2 colors in, I knew that was something I was going to do. I was like, how fun. So that's what I've done. The yarn is the Fiber Company Tundra Arctic Landscape. It says a warm and lofty blend of baby alpaca, merino wool, and silk. And it is a little sample of it here. And they're the same. I use the same yarn. This purpley one is called Allium, A-L-L. Let's see if I can hold that. If you can read that. Sorry about the lighting, you guys. It's super bright. Allium. And then the white one, the ivory, is called Snowdrift. And again, what a fun project. I really enjoyed it. And I have something to wear. I'm so stoked about that. So, project bag that I can empty out. And this was kept in a project bag that I won from the other yarn shop that I go to here. So, yeah, that's it for my FOs. If you have any questions about any of it, totally open. You can IM me on Instagram or DM me or message me. Message me on Instagram. I don't know what it's called for Instagram. Or you can email me, Tanya@karmasastitch.com. More than happy to share all the information that I have about these projects that I did if you're interested. Next thing on my agenda to talk about are goals between now and the next episode, keeping in mind that the next episode may be a week away. We'll see. First thing I want to do is finish this crochet blanket. I want to get that done. I really want, that shouldn't take me very long. It really shouldn't. And the other goal I have between now and then is to make progress on the next monogamous project I'm going to have. I don't know which one of these whips that's going to be. It could be one of the sweaters. I don't think it'll be the habitation throw. But I could finish that cowl as well that I did with the color work thing. So, yeah. But then that leaves me with wanting to talk about our 100 subscriber giveaway. So, okay. So let's talk about our 100 subscriber drawing. There's going to be 2 prizes, but you're going to need to specify which one you want. Okay. So the first prize is going to be a pattern of your choosing. For Ravelry. If you want to enter into that pattern drawing, please leave a comment about which pattern it is you would choose. And that's all you need to do to enter for the pattern drawing. That's it. What pattern would it be? If you win the pattern drawing, what pattern would you like me to gift you on Ravelry? The second drawing will be for a project bag. And I pulled 2 out, so you need to choose which one you'd want. So if you're interested in the project bag part, I need you to leave a comment on if you would prefer the project bag, which is a floral print. It's a drawstring. It's got green on the inside. Okay. Or if you would prefer the Valentine's Day Notion pouch. It's a zipper. Okay. So which one would you like? So if you would prefer a bag over a pattern, specify which bag it is you would like. Both of these bags were made by my mom in Alaska, and she sends them to me. So these are unused, straight from her living room in Alaska. And that's what she does with her winter. She does a lot of sewing. And this year she has pretty much committed to making bags for me. And I will eventually get them up on Etsy. But at this point, I have not done so. So just to recap, 2 prizes next week. If you would prefer to win a pattern, please tell me in the comments below what pattern it is you would like to win. And if you would prefer a project bag, specify which bag it is you would like. Okay? That's all you got to do to enter. And I think that is about it for the episode with the yarny stuff. Okay, so total afterthought is another question I have for you guys. So I just put my Advent shawl into soak because I'm going to block it today, as I mentioned. And as I'm, putting my stuff away after recording episode 20, for those of you that crochet, do you block your finished items? Like the granny square blanket that I've got, should I block that? I mean, it doesn't look like a knitted project, like a knitting project, clearly this needs to be blocked. But the granny square blanket doesn't look like it needs to. Do you get anything out of blocking a crocheted item? I'm not sure that I need to do that, but thought I'd ask what you guys think. See, when I started crocheting, I've crocheted since I was 9, always getting acrylics and out of Michael's or Joann's. It wasn't until about 6 years ago that I learned how to knit and realized that there were, other kinds of yarns that do require a bit more care than acrylic, which is what I had grown up with. And so, like I said, I haven't really gone back to much crocheting since I learned how to knit. And I just realized maybe I should block this granny square blanket. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? I am blocking my test knit. I'm blocking my Advent shawl. And if I need to block the granny square blanket, today is the blocking day. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to get some input. I'd like to block it if I need to. All right, guys. See ya. At the end of each episode, I tend to talk a little bit about life stuff. So if that does not interest you, I am not offended in the least. And I look forward to seeing you guys probably in a week. But life stuff. Normally, I do these with my son, Anthony. My nephew is in town and he will be here like for 3 months, and he's staying with Anthony at this moment. And Anthony is so excited to have his cousin here. My nephew is, I think, 22. I think he turned 22 in October. And he's here hanging out with Anthony, and he's not working. He's just hanging out before he goes to work for his summer job, which is great for him. I mean, when you're young, travel, see your stuff, do your stuff, have fun. So he has chosen to come to Idaho and have fun with his cousin. And I could not be happier. So when I told Anthony, hey, I'm going to be recording our next episode, he's like, totally get it, bud. Totally get it. So Anthony is hanging out with my nephew. The other life thing is Bruce. That dog misses me so much. I just know it. I can see it in his face every time I get a picture. And he's getting so big. For those of you that don't know, Bruce is a puppy that my brother got that man has wanted for years. For absolute years. My brother has wanted an English bulldog. And for Christmas, his wife surprised him with an English bulldog. And he's always known that what he would name this dog. And that was Bruce, Bwuce. And Bruce is getting big, and my brother is, I just don't know. I can't think of anything that would make my brother happier getting home from work every single day than that little squishy face. So anyway, that is really it. I have been sick. Since about the first of the year. As most of you know, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I hadn't seen a doctor since she was born. I haven't been to a doctor in 6 years since I had her. And last week I woke up on Wednesday and I knew I was sick. I knew I wasn't feeling well. And I woke up and I was like, there's something wrong. I need to go see somebody for this. So I did get in to see a doctor, and I have bronchitis and a sinus infection. So she gave me an inhaler to help with the bronchitis, and she gave me antibiotics to help with the sinus infection. I'd like to say I'm getting better. I'm definitely not getting worse. I need to finish out the antibiotics. I have a few more days of those, but the splitting headache is what it's just been. The headache has been debilitating. I mean, today's the 19th, and I think today is probably the 3rd day since the 1st of January that I have not had this brain splitting headache. And it's exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting. People that live their lives with, chronic pain, I feel for you. I mean, because this is just a headache. But I know it's going to go away. It's not something I have to live with. And so I am hoping that this is getting better. I've been napping. I never nap. Alex doesn't let me nap. But the last 2 weeks I've had to. I mean, there's just no way around it. I've had to take naps. I've had to lay down. I mean, my husband gets home from work and I'm just laying in my daughter's bed sleeping as she's watching a movie. I just can't stay awake. So I'm hoping that that's my body healing, and I'm hoping that I'm on the mend and I don't have a headache today and I'm ready to go take a nap. But other than that, So yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. But that's really all that's going on life stuff. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I am going to block a shawl today and crochet a blanket. And that's really about it. So I hope this new year has been amazing for you guys and that you are working on stuff that just gets you excited to pull it out of your project bag. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. All right, we'll see you guys in a week or so. Bye.